in the drive-thru, and I was like, the Baja Blast freezer. You're like, oh, okay, yeah.
I was like, you really couldn't even just translate that, though?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the DC Discourse. I am Nathan Peterson.
And I'm Dallin Poulter.
And we are excited to have you guys here with us today. One thing we forgot to mention on our Joker episode is that this month is a special month. Dallin, why is it a special month for DC and for all comics?
It's a special month because it is Villains Month.
So that's one of the reasons why we wanted the Joker, obviously, with the movie. But now we're going to do something a little different. We're going to talk about our dream villains team. So what are some of the requirements that we put on this team? It's pretty open.
Yeah, pretty open. So basically we have a leader, a tech person, a powerhouse, a martial artist / stealth person, and then 2 free picks of just whoever you want.
So we're gonna get going on this. We'll try to give brief explanations of each character a little bit, but we won't go into too much detail, obviously, because we want to save some stuff for later as well. So I'll go ahead and start if that's okay. So we'll start off with our leaders. We'll do 1 and 1 each. My leader is Lex Luthor.
I'm not surprised.
So Lex Luthor is my leader because he is, as far as villains go, I think he's one of the most respectable and one of the most often associated with leadership. The other thing that obviously sets him apart is that he was president at one time. So I mean, that's got to say something. He may be a villain, but he definitely knows how to lead. And you can actually see that in it's Superman. It's Lex 2000 Volume 1, and it's an idea that Jeff Loeb came up, and then he actually used it again in Public Enemies, which is a Batman Superman crossover. So his hunger would be great, and I have to shout out for one mention as far as him in other media is Michael Rosenbaum from Smallville, the best Lex Luthor ever depicted on media. So that's my leader.
Right on. So my leader, I had a feeling Nathan was going to do Lex Luthor, and I didn't want to. We wanted to keep things pretty different. We didn't talk to each other about our teams.
Yeah.
But I had a feeling he was going to do that, and so I wanted to pick someone else. And so my leader is Ra's al Ghul.
Which is one I actually was debating between the two of those. So
All right.
I went back and forth about 3 or 4 times between the two. So
Perfect. I picked Ra's al Ghul because, I mean, he's been alive for hundreds of years. He leads the League of Assassins, and he has contacts in like almost every single nation in the world. And like he's been alive for so long, he's been a leader for so long that he knows exactly what he's doing. He's got a genius level intellect as well, and the fact that he's got such like a good / interesting relationship with Batman would just make him like it just makes him one of the best leaders in my opinion.
all right, great.
And some of the comics that I do like about Ra's al Ghul is kind of like the Demon Trilogy is what I call it. So you've got Son of the Demon, Bride of the Demon, and Birth of the Demon.
Yep.
And then I also really like Liam Neeson's portrayal in The Dark Knight.
Beautiful as well. Okay, so for my tech guy, so for most of you guys that maybe don't know this, when it comes to a team, usually obviously there's a leader, and the tech guy is kind of like the deputy, I would say, like the second in command. So for that reason, I first of all went with the best tech guy there is, which is because he's a living computer, so I went with Brainiac.
Nice.
And I did that for several reasons. First of all, because he's, as far as villains go, I think he's one of the most interesting because he's just a living computer who wants to acquire all knowledge. And he actually has a relationship with Lex Luthor. They work together pretty frequently on comics because obviously Lex Luthor admires Brainiac for his power and his knowledge, and then Brainiac actually admires Lex as one of the only humans he will work with, and he sees not on an equal level, but he would respect him. And you see that a lot in Crisis on Infinite Earths. It actually comes up, and it comes up several times in other comics as well. And it even comes up in the Justice League animated series. You see them working together, and Brainiac even like takes over Lex's body, and they kind of work together that way too. So there's mutual respect, and I figured they'd work well together as kind of the leaders of the team.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was debating between Brainiac and this other person that I chose. This guy is not as well known. His name is Computo, and there's a period like in between each letter, and that Computo name stands for. It stands for Cyber Cerebral Overlapping Multiprocessor Transceiver Operator. And he's basically a computer, and he has the ability to control machines, and he consumes energy as well. So like kind of like evil cyborg, but like straight computer, not really human.
Okay,
So
that's
yeah.
way cool.
And he has done a lot of work with Brainiac in the comics as well.
That's so cool. I haven't heard much of that
So,
character, so
yeah.
that's pretty awesome.
Not well known, and someone I learned about earlier this week, and I was like, pretty cool.
All
We'll
right.
do that.
Do you want to do martial artists next or powerhouses?
Let's do Powerhouse.
Okay, I may have not cheated on yours. So who is your powerhouse? I just saw yours.
You saw mine? My Powerhouse is Black Adam.
Hey, same.
I didn't think that was gonna happen, honestly.
Who'd you think I was gonna pick?
I don't know who I thought you would pick. I was like, maybe he'll do Bane.
Okay.
But then I was like, Bane's just like too generic.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people will pick him, so I was like, I want to go with someone that people probably wouldn't think would be listed as a Powerhouse, but that's funny.
That's way funny. So why did you pick him? And then I'll go into why I picked him.
Just because, I mean, for anyone who knows Shazam,
Yeah.
he's amazing and he's basically indestructible, honestly. And Black Adam is the exact same, just evil, supervillain. And if you've ever read Kingdom Come, you know how much people are afraid of Shazam because of how powerful he is. And when you have just the opposite on the other side of the spectrum, absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, that's really cool. Something about him too that I think is interesting is he was chosen back in the Egyptian days to be the Shazam, and then went haywire because he got basically power hungry. And I actually really like him. Obviously, when I think of powerhouse, Black Adam and Shazam are kind of aside from Superman, they're just two I think of.
Absolutely, yeah.
I thought about doing Darkseid or some of these other more cosmic characters, but I think I like Black Adam as a character more because I think he's got more powers, not just strength. Another thing that's cool is you see him, and there's a series called 52, which happens after Infinite Crisis, which is basically one of the crises in the DC universe. And in the comic 52, it's a year without Superman, Batman, or Wonder Woman, and he's a huge part of that because he actually becomes a dictator / god of the country. I have no idea how you pronounce this. It's one of those made-up countries. I think if it's a real country, I'm sorry. Kondak. One country, and he is basically a dictator and a god. So you see him in a very villainous leadership role, and he's actually kind of creates a communist society that's really successful. And so he's really powerful and really smart too. But he's also I don't think there's a lot of many people more powerful than he is. So
Yeah, and I was going to mention the 52 as well.
yeah.
But I also want to talk about some of his abilities, just
Yeah.
to show to explain why he's such a powerhouse. For those of you who don't know who he is. So immortality, super speed, strength, endurance, invulnerability, flight. He's got magically enhanced perceptions and intellect, teleportation, self-healing, and the ability to instantly heal others as well.
Yes. And where do his powers derive from? Do you know?
I'm spacing right now.
So it's magic.
Magic.
Is what I'm saying.
magic.
There's magic
Yeah.
powers. And the reason why that's so cool for anyone that doesn't know is magic is one of Superman's vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
So it's another way of saying how powerful he is because he could, in my opinion, could beat Superman.
Yeah.
Hasn't, I don't
But
think,
could.
but he could.
Absolutely. And I mean, The Rock is gonna play him, which I'm super pumped
It's
for.
awesome. And that's been a fan favorite for years.
Yeah.
There have been stupid fan arts for him as The Rock for as long as I can remember. So I'm glad
So
they're kind of
once
just doing
it was finally announced, everyone was freaking out on the internet.
So it's really, really cool. So I'm glad we both agree that he should be
The powerhouse.
Yeah. Is there any? I think you're gonna have the same one for something that you can go watch him into if you're interested in seeing it is Superman and Shazam.
Shazam.
Yeah.
Yep, Return of Black Adam.
Return of Black Adam. It's just basically a brawl. There's really no story to it.
Right.
It's just they go and fight Black Adam. So
Just super fun to watch,
yeah,
though.
it's cool.
And another good comic for the Black Adam is Black Adam: The Dark Age. So check that out.
Check it out. All right. Do you want to do martial artist?
Let's do martial artist.
Okay. I'll go first this time.
All right.
I have another Al Ghul in my family.
I thought you would maybe do that.
And it is Talia al Ghul. I love Talia al Ghul because I think she's an interesting character. Sometimes she is even, if this is hero, this is anti-hero, and this is villain, she sways a little bit sometimes to the anti-hero just because of her love for Batman and when she has a son with Batman for Damian as well. So she kind of sways a little bit, but in the end she always goes back to being a villain and to her loyalties definitely lie with the League of Shadows. Absolutely. And so I think she's just a really interesting character. Obviously, she as well uses the Lazarus Pits, which basically allow you to live forever. So she is immortal as well, and she has learned by Raish's side forever. So she has a lot of skills that way. And I think she would add some interesting drama to the team because of just her, just how stealthy she is and how good of a fighter she is, and she's just got a lot of great experience.
Yeah. So my martial artist, I thought I wanted to put Talia, but I was I don't personally I don't want two Al Ghuls in my team. So I
You
did
don't
the
want
next,
some nepotism,
Yeah,
obviously.
exactly. So I did the next person that I thought is the best martial artist or stealth person, which is Lady Shiva.
I thought about that too.
And I mean, basically the exact same as Talia al
Yeah.
Ghul, just not in the League of Shadows, but she's been an expert assassin since she
Yeah.
was a teenager. She's done a lot. She convinced Bronze Tiger to murder Deathstroke. So she's pretty insane, and she just shows up out of nowhere and assassinates people and then disappears, and terrifying.
Yeah, she's terrifying. I actually went back and forth between the two for a little while. The only reason why I thought of Talia more than Lady Shiva is because I've known more of her character arcs, and I've done a
Right.
lot with Lady Shiva, and I've always liked Talia more as like a character. I think Lady Shiva is probably honestly a better assassin than Talia is, because Lady Shiva is like probably #1 as far as DC assassins go, in my opinion. So
Absolutely.
pretty cool stuff.
Very cool. All right, so now we're gonna go to our 2 free picks. Do you want to start off with yours?
Okay, let's do 1 and 1.
Okay, yeah.
So mine are both pretty out of the ballpark. I don't think you'll be surprised by.
Okay.
So I've got Big Barda, and this is a cheat because she becomes a superhero, but
Freaking cheater.
I'm sorry,
Get outta here.
but she didn't start as one, so I'm going Big Barda before she meets Mr. Miracle. So she was one of the female Furies. A female Fury they're a team of females, obviously, on Apocalypse, which is Darkseid's planet, and they basically work right underneath their leader, whose name is Granny Goodness. Not the best name, but Big Barda basically has...
Crazy looking lady too.
Yeah, but Big Barda has super strength, increased and durability, and she's really powerful and really strong. And I kind of felt like, okay, I've got Black Adam, but I need someone else that is just like a powerhouse too, so they can kind of be the brute force, because Talia going up against like some big heroes, she can hold her own, but not if they have tons of superpowers. So I went with Big Barda, and I think it was a good choice. And again, before Mr. Miracle, because when she meets him, she falls in love with him and slowly becomes a good guy. And I think it'd be interesting too, because you could do like a story arc with her like throughout the series, slowly kind of coming to the good, and then in the end betraying her team or something. So
That'd be pretty cool. That's
be
pretty sweet.
a good little arc to do for her.
Yeah. All right, so my first free pick is Harley Quinn. And I did it just because like she's
a good
nuts.
character, yeah.
Like she's a good character. But one thing that like really wanted me to pick her is that I think a lot of people forget that she's like highly intelligent and knows a lot about psychiatry, and she's perfect. She's great for like manipulating like other people. People just think, oh, like she's insane. She's the Joker's
She's powerful though.
like put-in.
Yeah.
But it's like she's powerful and she's wicked smart, and she can get into other people's heads because she was a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
So that's why I picked her, and it's always just fun to have like a crazy person on team that you can't
A
predict
wild
what they're
card,
going to
basically.
be doing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I kind of figured you put her on her team because I know how much you love like the Bat family and Harley Quinn in general too.
And Margot Robbie does a great job.
She does do a good job. I think you like her for other reasons, but
True. But I'm excited for Birds of Prey as well.
it's gonna be a good
But
movie.
she's a great Harley Quinn.
All right, I'll let you do your last one, and then I'll do my last one.
Okay, so my last free pick is Enchantress.
Another crazy
Another
wild card.
crazy wild card, but I also wanted to have, like, besides Black Adam, I also wanted to have like another kind of magician person on the team. And she's just very powerful with magic and can manipulate energy. And it's always good to have someone who can like do teleportation and create portals for other people to travel as well. And yeah, she's just freaking nuts. So
Yep, she is your
and
team.
terrifying. Like if you
who's
come
gonna
across her, like you're gonna be scared to death.
So one thing with villains team that we should probably go over, they always fall apart.
Always fall apart.
They never actually work, and that's usually their own demise. So like one of the leaders will get overthrown. So who do you see being the cause of your team basically falling apart?
Most likely Enchantress.
Okay.
Just
Yeah, that's
because.
very in line. So I'm glad you said
because
that.
like with Enchantress taking over June Moore's body, like there's always that conflict in between them. So those two having that conflict can just drive everyone else crazy and just like tear the team apart.
Yep, that is great. So mine is a character that is pretty new, actually really new, came out in 2016. His name is Godspeed, and in my opinion, so he's a Flash villain. Every team needs a good speedster. I'm a Flash fan, so I love speedsters. I love the Speed Force in general, and I just think it's such a cool idea.
Yeah.
And Godspeed's a really cool character because he actually is a detective for the Central City Police Department. Sorry, drew a blank on how to. I was like,
But you got it.
I got it. And his name is August, and he works really closely with Barry Allen, and then he ends up getting struck by lightning, so gets the Speed Force too, along with a bunch of other people at the same time. And as he gets the Speed Force, all these other ones do too, and there's like a team of Flashes, but he's kind of the right-hand man of Barry Allen, becomes like his prodigy for a little while. But what happens is he feels like all these other people aren't using the speed as much as they could, and so he's like, well, maybe I can try taking it from them. And he didn't realize that it would kill them, and so he ends up killing a ton of these people and steals their speed, and just realizes how powerful he can be if he just keeps stealing speed. And so that kind of becomes like his driving force. And he is really dark too, which I think is an interesting play, because another reason why I picked him, I will make sure to put this up, but Godspeed's suit is the coolest speedster shoot ever.
I haven't seen it, so
yeah, he's a dark villain, but he has white and gold and a complete face cowl. So like, as far as looks go as speedsters, I don't think there's one that looks cooler. Maybe Wally West's new one in Rebirth.
Okay.
But yeah, so he is new. You can read about his first origin in Flash Rebirth issues. Start with 1 and read through 8, and you'll kind of see the whole story arc of how he becomes a villain. And I think he would be really good because he's so power hungry, but he's also new to the game, so he would kind of look up to these new villains and be like, and I think he'd be pretty easy to convince to join the team.
So besides him being kind of like one of the younger villains,
rookies,
but like looking up to people, why'd you pick him over Reverse Flash?
I thought about this. So one of the things is I went back and forth. One of the reasons is because I like the look a lot about him, but the real reason was, the legitimate reason, is I was thinking about motivation for the two, and all my team is very power hungry, except for Big Barda, but again, she's gonna kind of betray the team, so it's fine.
Right.
But I just feel like Reverse Flash is really motivated by his hate for the Flash, and so I just don't see him as like a big villain as a part of a team, because his whole thing is basically, I want to screw over Barry Allen, and so if he's not doing that, I just don't see him being a part of it as much. I think he's an amazing character. Eberthon is awesome, but I just felt like for this team, Godspeed was a better fit because he's younger, he'll kind of fit in with the group and just kind of learn from them, and he's so power hungry that he won't like think twice about joining it.
Yeah, dang, that's way cool.
So
there are teams.
Yeah.
I said we both just like list our
just to review them really quick.
again.
So again, we'll just go through leaders really quick.
Yep. So Ra's al Ghul.
And Lex Luthor, Tech.
I had Computo.
And I had Brainiac.
For Powerhouse, we both had Black Adam.
Yep, martial artist, I had Talia al Ghul.
And I had Lady Shiva.
And then for our free choices or wild cards, I had Big Barda and Godspeed.
And then I had Harley Quinn and Enchantress.
So let us know what you think of our teams. You can tell us how much you hate them. I know I've watched things like this before, and I'm like, he's heard about it. And I'm like, why did they put them on their team? That doesn't make any sense. So you can debate our choices. And see
feel free to comment like why you think we shouldn't have those people or who we should have. Or comment in your own team.
Yeah.
And let us know what you think.
Yeah, so for now, that's all we have. And next week, our next show, I should say, we're going to get into Crisis on Infinite Earths and start dissecting it for those who are watching the CW show. So get ready for that. Hope you enjoy your Halloween and your Villains Month.
Yeah, well, but for the time being, what are we going to do?
We're going to boom tube it out.
See you later.